or find us on Facebook. Email us at church668hope@gmail.com or call us at 753-1113 or 236-7271. Your free will gifts and offerings will be greatly appreciated. First Citizens Bank account number 795222.
Turn your radio on. Turn your radio. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on. Issue Beleke.
Ikaro, I am Alatumishe Ifabamishe Aganki, better known as MC Duke, and every Monday between the hours of 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. I host a show called Orisha, The Way of Life, right here on the Sheet 919 FM, where I have guests passing through from the Orisha Ifa Baptist Diaspora to educate, edify, and inform you, the listening public, about Orisha Ifa practices. So remember to tune in every Monday between the hours of 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. for Orisha, The Way of Life.
Are you tired of going place to place with no real solutions for your health concerns? Look no further and let our team at Louis Herbal Health Clinic take care of you with our amazing specials. Now offering iridology scanning, where we utilize a microscopic camera to detect hypertension, liver damage, a weakened immune system, and so much more issues in the body through the eyes. Iridology scanning is 100% safe and pain-free. Also available is our advanced 3D head-to-toe body scanning using the biophilia tracker, a one-of-a-kind radiation-free device used to detect all chronic diseases, disorders, and inflammation in the body in just under 1 hour. Free consultation with any service and the same-day results available. We are located on number 18 Parakeet Street, Tacarigua. To book, call or WhatsApp Shanice today at 278-1661 or find us on Facebook at Louis Herbal TT for more information.
Royal Castle happily presents our New Year giveaway. When you buy a family meal, you could be in to win some happiness. A kitchen appliance combo of a new stove, fridge, and microwave. Whoa! A living room set, a washer-dryer combo, or a dining room set. Other goodies include Samsung Smart TVs, grocery vouchers, or one of 20 tablets. Just write your info on your bill and slip it into the entry box in store. It's easy to win with our New Year giveaway.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Right, so Trinidad and Tobago, we are back, and you are in studio with us. I think we're up and running. Dominic and yours truly, Sharon, Felix. Remember, guys, you can see us live in studio, so go to your Facebook page, Street 919 FM, or your YouTube. Yeah. All right. Right. I think you find it. Mm-hmm. Right. So Trinidad and Tobago, let me just read for you. Hold on. The internet is just giving a little trouble this morning. I don't know why. All right. But we're here. All right, good. On The Guardian says, Mbert clarifies patriotic misunderstanding. Finance Minister Colin Mbert is clarifying Patriotic Energies and Technologies Limited complete misunderstanding of how the tax incentives and concessions work. Patriotic is wholly owned by the Oilfield Workers Trade Union, OWTU, and on Friday, its President General Anselm Loger held a press conference to respond to Mbert. who said that the company was no longer qualified to take over the Petrotrin refinery. Patriotic said that the tax credits are nothing new and are given to multinational companies making foreign direct investment in TNT. But Imbert said that there was a critical difference. However, what is being missed is that tax credits given to other companies making an investment in Trinidad and Tobago are not transferable or tradable, Imbert said, and that would have alluded to what Dominic just said to us. Dominic, before I go further, I want you to explain again what that says so that people understand what we're saying. You just said it. I want you to respond to it again. However, what is being missed is that the tax credits given to other companies making an investment in Trinidad and Tobago are not transferable or tradable, Imbert said. Go ahead, Dominic.
Right. So I will just give a brief explanation of what a tax credit is, right? So that when you're doing your taxes, there are two types of concessions that are available, not just to companies, but also to individuals. So you have tax deductions and you have tax credits. What a tax deduction does is that it reduces the income on which your tax would be assessed. So let's say you're someone who is earning $20,000 a month, $240 for the year. That's your gross income, right? In order to determine how much taxes you would have to pay, the government allows you certain deductions which you would minus from that $240,000, such as your personal allowance, such as up to 70% of your NIS contributions. If it is that you would have spent your own personal money on tertiary education expenses, I think up to $60,000. If you're paying alimony, you're paying and these things, paying maintenance and all that. So there are a whole list of things that what would apply to you if you have an annuity. You're allowed to claim on your premiums and so on. After you've applied the applicable deductions to your gross income, what is left, the income that is left, is what is used to determine how much taxes you will pay.
Right.
So depending on what tax package you fall in, if it is that figure is under $1 million, you pay 25%. If it's over $1 million, 30%, 35% for banks, I think. And so let's say after you apply all of your deductions, you have, let's say $100,000 left over. You're supposed to pay 25% of that in taxes, which is $25,000. You would now apply the tax credit to that $25,000 to reduce it. So let's say if you were to convert your vehicle to CNG and the government allows you a tax credit, so let's say you spend $10,000 to convert your vehicle, you would minus that $10,000 from the 25 and it comes down to 15. And if there are any other tax credits, you could now apply it against that to nullify your tax liability, so you can end up paying zero tax. Right, so that is what happens. So a tax credit given to these companies now. So with the energy companies, what would have been done? They said, okay, if it is you invest in drilling a well, whatever money you would have spent to drill this well in say 2020, you could write that off against your tax liability. So if you spend $100 million to drill the well and you're supposed to pay the government $100 million in taxes in 2020, you pay nothing. So that is it's an incentive for you to continue to do more drilling and so on.
Trinidad and Tobago. Listeners all over the world, we have our own Minister of Finance here.
So in this case, what Mr. Imbert is saying here, normally when the tax credits are given to companies, only the company to whom it is given could use it. Nobody else.
And that is, let me stick up in. It is only non-transferable tax credits that are given to other companies making investments. And these non-transferable tax credits can only be used to offset tax on income from their own operations and cannot be used by other unrelated companies and therefore do not represent any financial outlay on the part of government, he said. The guru just explained it to you here. So then, Dominic and Minister Imbert went to the same school. Imbert said the problem with the transferable tax credit is that it was not linked in any way to the activities, income, or operations of the company involved and is in effect a form of cash or revenue foregone. A transferable tax credit can thus be sold on the open market for cash and is a legal and binding obligation of the government, which in this case would have no relationship or connection through the restart or operation of the refinery, he said. Let me read it again. A transferable tax credit can thus be sold on the open market for cash and is a legal and a binding obligation of the government, which in this case would have no relationship or connection to the restart or operation of the refinery, he said. Imbert said that as a result, whether the refinery was restarted or not, the proposed transferable tax credits would be sold for cash. So Trinidad, me with my little self, I ain't had no degree in mathematics, nor in economics, could understand that if the refinery never starts up for some particular reason, the transferable tax credit can be sold for cash. And Trinidad and Tobago will lose.
Correct.
Are going good?
Correct.
Thank you. So I could pass me.
Yes.
My thesis going good.
Correct.
Right, good. Simply put, the fundamental conditionality in the financing proposal from Credit Suisse was the government was required to issue to Credit Suisse, I say the people name right?
Swiss,
sorry.
Yeah.
Credit Suisse through patriotic US $750 million in fully transferable and tradable tax credits in exchange for the US $500 million that would be paid to Trinidad and Tobago or Trinidad Petroleum Holdings for the refinery and Paria, he said. Listen. Simply put, the fundamental conditionality in the financing proposal for Credit, what do you call it?
Suisse. Yeah.
Was that the government was required to issue to Credit Suisse through patriotic US $750 million. 500 into 750 million remains with what?
250.
Good.
So before I go further, I'll explain why they asked for 750.
Right.
In order for them to sell these tax credits, they would have to sell it at what is called a discount. Right? So you need to have additional that you could give away in order to be able to make back the 500 million. So if I come to you and let's say you're a big multinational company, whatever, and I want to sell you 100 million in tax credits, for that to make sense, I have to sell it to you for less than 100 million, because you will say to me, well, if I pay you 100 million for 100 million,
how much I make?
Then I ain't making anything, because that just offsets $100 million of taxes I had to pay to the government. But it works out the same thing if I pay you 100 million or I pay the government 100 million, it's still 100 million. So you need to sell this to me for about 85 million or 90 million, and then it would make sense. So you giving me 100, but I giving you 90. So that's why they needed that extra 200 million window. And I say extra 200 because based on what Mr. Imbert said, 50 million of that 750 was supposed to go to Patriotic. So that extra 200 million now would allow Credit Suisse to sell the tax credits on a discount and still make back their 500 million and probably even more than that. So.
Digest.
Mm-hmm.
The government, Imbert said, was required to give Credit Suisse 750 million in fully transferable money market instrument, which instrument Credit Suisse had stated upfront that they planned to sell on the open market. Patriotic would then get the refinery and Paria for free, having put up no money, collateral, or security, and could mortgage the refinery and Paria as they saw fit. He said, in other words, what I am understanding here, without Dominic telling me, is that we're giving away our refinery to these people for free.
Correct.
And that they will have sole ownership of the refinery and whatever comes with it. Right. Am I right?
Actually, what the government, we said before, would be paying Patriotic to take the refinery and take Paria. You paying them 250 million US to take it.
And the government have no control over that.
No control. And then what would have happened? Patriotic would then give the assets to Trafigura. Trafigura would give them the 500 million to restart the refinery, and that would have been the transaction there. Because the problem here is that Trafigura wants collateral for the 500 million.
Hold on, Dominic. When you go to the bank and take a loan, if you're a newcomer, you have to show assets in order to get the loan. And if you forfeit on your payment, what do you do?
They seize it.
So is it that traffic guru getting given the 500 and holding on to this?
Correct.
So if Patriotic don't pay back traffic guru,
they would seize the assets
Lord,
and sell it.
Father, I don't think I went behind the school and sit down. And I think I have a lot of understanding.
Right. And then in this instance, if that scenario were to play out, the government would have no control whatsoever over the assets. So if Patriotic, in running the refinery, things go sour, and then they're unable to service their debt, and Traffic Bureau decides to call in the loan and sell the refinery, if they can't find somebody who wants to operate, they could just sell it as scrap metal. And the government can't do anything about it because it doesn't belong to them.
Where am I? This was not what was envisaged or stated when the request for proposal for the sale or lease of the refinery was issued in 2019. It is also completely inconsistent with the general criteria and conditions associated with the procurement process for the disposal of the refinery, and certainly not in the public interest. This criticism of Patriotic comes after both IWER and Energy Minister Franklin Kahn defended their decision to award the RFP to Patriotic to take over the refinery. Back in 2019, when asked how the months-old Patriotic was able to afford the refinery, IWER said that the company was chosen because it presented the most lucrative proposal. IWER said then that Patriotic has shown its ability to raise finance and was also experienced in marketing. IWER said the government decided to defer what was intended to be an upfront payment, which enabled the company to better afford the investment.
And that's the critical thing there, Sharon. The offer that the government made to Patriotic was for people use it was a sweetheart deal.
A sweet bread.
Yeah, the government is saying to you,
raisins.
yes, 700 million, we accept that offer, but we don't want to put you in a situation where you have to go and borrow 700 million to pay us up front. You have to go and borrow 500 million to restart the refinery. And you start your operations $1.2 billion in debt. And then problems arise where you have little teething problems in the beginning, and then because you have to service this $1 billion US debt, it affects your cash flow. So now you don't have money to buy oil because you have to take whatever money you make to pay the loan. You don't have money to pay staff salaries because you're taking whatever money you make to pay loan. And this could cause problem because your workers decide, well, they're down in tools and they're not going to operate the refinery until you pay them. That causes problems because you now controlling barrier, which means the country's fuel security is in your hands. When you shut down the refinery, and we, the country, now stop importing fuel as we're doing now, and we're depending on this refinery, no fuel in the gas station, and everybody cussing Rowley, and everybody cussing him, but because they get Patriotic, how much what happened now? So they're saying, here, what? Pay us over 10 years.
Right.
The refinery is going to generate income, and you can pay us from your income rather than having to go and take this loan, and then you have your creditors breathing down your neck. And Patriotic accepted it. It was a good deal. The problem that arose is the fact that Trafigura, who was giving them the loan for the 500 million to restart the refinery, says, we want collateral for this 500 million. And the only collateral Patriotic could get was the assets of the refinery. But they don't have ownership of these assets right now because those assets have been pledged as collateral to refinance the $850 million loan bond. The only way the government could release that lien, Patriotic needs to come with their 500 million. Give it to them. The government would give it to whoever their creditors, which I think is probably Credit Suisse too. We pay off the loan, and then there is no longer any hold on the assets, and we could give it to you. You could pledge it to Traffic Bureau and do what you have to do. So the problem is Patriotic cannot find anybody willing to lend them the money without collateral, which they do not have. And that's the big problem right there.
Trinidad and Tobago. Patriotic seeks meeting with IWER. But before I read that, I would have liked you to play the live.
I sent it to you.
On what, Messenger? I want us to play so that I don't misinterpret what was written here. Neither did Dominic. Well, Dominic going good. I want you to understand so that we on the same page. So let us not beat up for beating up sake. Let us look at this thing holistically together. Hold on for me. Let me see if I can get it to play here. And so you all can hear it for yourself who didn't hear it. And we have a better understanding. Wait. Let me just slow down. Right. All right, so we're gonna try to play this for you.
Last month, the cabinet took a decision with respect to the acquisition of the Petrotrin refinery, or better put, with the sale or lease of the Petrotrin refinery. Around that time, we received correspondence from Patriotic Energies and Technologies Company Limited, who were the preferred bidder, that and I'm quoting from the letter from Patriotic to the Corporation Sole, in my capacity as Corporation Sole, their letter was dated the 18th of January 2021. And on that day, in that letter, Patriotic stated, among other things, that in our conversations with Credit Suisse, they have expressed great enthusiasm and confidence of their capacity to successfully finance the acquisition price of US $500 million for Patriotic. And that was in the context of a cabinet decision where the cabinet had decided that we would return to the open market to determine whether there was anybody who was interested in the sale or lease of the assets of Guacaria and or Paria. Following the receipt of that letter from Patriotic, the cabinet made a decision through the Prime Minister that we would give Patriotic a further 15 days to submit a firm and binding offer for the financing of the acquisition of the refinery. That 15th day ended on the 5th of February 2021. On the 5th of February 2021, we received a proposal from Patriotic. And that is the first point I wish to make, that even though we had written to Patriotic in response to their letter where they told us that they had an offer of financing from Credit Suisse, we wrote them and told them that we are giving them until the 5th of February to submit a firm binding commitment for the purchase of the refinery. Rather than submitting a firm binding commitment on the 5th of February, by letter, Patriotic submitted a proposal, and I dare say an indicative proposal. The proposal outlined two financing options. The options can be described as a tax credit purchase facility and a receivables purchase agreement. To explain the first option presented in the letter from Patriotic, to which was attached the proposal from Credit Suisse, which was the proposal that they had referred to in their, well, it was the financing arrangement that they had referred to in their January 18th letter. The various divisions of the Ministry of Finance that deal with economic management and debt management, analyzed the two proposals and prepared a discussion paper for me as Minister of Finance, which I subsequently submitted to the Cabinet. The first option, option 1, tax credit purchase facility, requires the government to issue tax credits to Patriotic in the amount of US $750 million. The tax credits would be divisible, which would mean that the $750 million worth of tax credits could be divided into smaller amounts, 10 million, 20 million, 50 million, as the case may be, and transferable, such that Patriotic would be able to sell them to any third party. When the government issued these tax credits, Patriotic would transfer them to Credit Suisse. And Credit Suisse would then be empowered to sell the tax credits at a rate of $100 million per year, or $680 million per year. Credit Suisse would be able to sell those tax credits to anybody they pleased. So they could sell them to BP, they could sell them to Shell, they could sell them to anybody who owes tax to the government of Trinidad and Tobago. And those tax credits could be then used to offset any tax liability that any of these entities had. So let me repeat that. Option 1 requires the government to issue US $750 million, which is 5 billion Trinidad and Tobago dollars, in tax credits, which would be freely transferable to any third party and could be sold to any third party. One interesting point that the technocrats in the Ministry of Finance picked up was that Credit Suisse was asking for 700 million US of the 750, and the remaining 50 million US could be sold by Patriotic as they see fit. That's 340 million Trinidad and Tobago dollars. The implications of this option, option 1 or option A, is that the revenue of the government would be reduced by $5 billion. Because, as I said, these tax credits can be sold to anyone. So this represents $5 billion in revenue foregone, and essentially would be a gift of $5 billion from the government to Patriotic. The second implication that the technocrats pointed out was that, pursuant to the government issuing $750 million in tax credits to Patriotic, which they would transfer to Credit Suisse, Patriotic would receive free access to the assets of Guaracara, which is the refinery, and Paria, at no cost to Patriotic. All expenses and risks are to be borne by the government in the form of the initial capital by way of the $5 billion TT dollars in tax credits. The third point that the technocrats determined is that after the government has issued $5 billion in tax credits, which Credit Suisse can then sell on the open market, thus decreasing revenue to the government by $5 billion, Patriotic would own the assets on a free and clear basis and would be able to pledge them or mortgage them for future financing at no risk to them. And the greatest risk to the government, and I dare say the country, would be the loss by Patriotic of these state assets that they did not pay for. So in this arrangement, the government puts up $5 billion, essentially in cash, and Patriotic receives the refinery and Paria fuel trading at no cost to them, at no risk to them, and then they are allowed to mortgage these assets for whatever they wish to do. A related risk is that Patriotic would also be able to pledge the assets for financing that has no relationship to the startup of the refinery. So those are the implications of option A. Now let me repeat them. the government puts up $5 billion in tax credits, and Patriotic gets the refinery and Paria without any cost on a free and clear basis, and they are able to mortgage these assets with no risk to them, and the government and country could lose the assets. Option B. This is a receivables purchase agreement. This requires the execution of a receivables purchase agreement between Patriotic and Credit Suisse, where the purchasers agree to buy the assets in the form of receivables from Trinidad Petroleum. Now, Trinidad Petroleum is one of the companies that came out of the restructuring of Petrotrin. And Trinidad Petroleum is the holding company that owns Heritage, Paria, Guaracara. So that Petrotrin in essence still exists, and it exists in the form of Trinidad Petroleum. Because prior to the formation of these companies, Petrotrin owned everything. So now Trinidad Petroleum is the holding company owning everything. So that in the second financing arrangement, a purchase agreement is required between Patriotic and Credit Suisse in the form of receivables from Trinidad Petroleum, formerly Petrotrin, for approximately US $500 million. Trinidad Petroleum would then transfer the title to the assets to Patriotic upon execution of the agreement. Payment for the assets would be made in accordance with a deferred payment schedule. This is similar to Patriotic and Trinidad Petroleum entering into a hire purchase agreement to purchase the refinery and the Paria fuel trading assets, with the government rather than Patriotic servicing the financing payments over time. So in option 2, a loan of 500 to 550 million US is arranged by Credit Suisse, and the government is required to service the loan. This would entail a legal, valid, binding, and irrevocable obligation enforceable against the government. And the government would be required to make annual budgetary allocations estimated at 864 million Trinidad dollars annually for 7 years to service the obligation. The implications of this: the government will be required to co-sign the financing arrangement. In other words, to guarantee it, to act as guarantor. As you know, you may go for a loan and you don't have the collateral. You get somebody to guarantee or act as guarantor. So in this second option, the government has to co-sign the loan and act and guarantee it and act as guarantor. And having done that, having co-signed the loan and guaranteed it, the government is required to make annual budgetary allocations from the consolidated fund of approximately US $127 million or 864 million TT dollars for 7 years. And it is to be noted that I'm converting to TT, but the payments are in US. So there's a foreign exchange rate risk as well as leakage of foreign exchange risk here, because the government will have to put out 127 million US dollars per year for 7 years. The second implication of this is after the government does that, co-signs a loan, acts as guarantor, guarantees a loan, and makes the budgetary allocations, commits to make these budgetary allocations of 864 million a year for 7 years, Patriotic would receive free access to the assets at the expense of the government. So again, Patriotic will get ownership of the refinery and Paria at no cost to Patriotic. All expenses and risks are to be borne by the government in the form of annual payments totaling 864 million a year or $6 billion in total over the period. And the third implication is Patriotic will own the assets on a free and clear basis and will be able to pledge them or mortgage them for future financing, again at no risk to them. And again, the greatest risk to the government would be loss by Patriotic of state assets that Patriotic did not pay for. Again, a related risk is that Patriotic can pledge the assets for financing unrelated to the startup of the refinery. In both instances, the government is required to finance both options in the sum of the US dollar equivalent of $5 billion in the first option and $6 billion in the second option. A third implication is that when the government does that, and the government pays out 5 billion, option A, 6 billion, option B, the funding provided by Credit Suisse does not come to the government. It goes to the bondholders who refinanced the Petrotrin bond of $850 million in 2019, or 2018, I believe is the year it was. So that's a further implication. The government puts out $5 billion. Credit Suisse funding of $500 million does not come to government. It goes to financiers of Petrotrin. Patriotic gets the assets free and clear, which they can mortgage. They do not pay for them, and that the country and government can lose these assets. So these two matters, well, these two options were, the analysis of these two options was presented to the cabinet today. The cabinet, having looked at all of this, considering the fact that the refinery was closed because it was felt that it was a loss-making enterprise and that the country and the government could no longer afford the billion-dollar losses of the refinery. This proposal, which is not yet an offer, would take us right back to where we began and then cause us to incur, the country to incur payments of between $5 and $6 billion, and with the added risk of the assets of the refinery and the fuel trading company being given to Patriotic, which they could then mortgage as they see fit. So that the cabinet, having examined all of this, particularly in view of the fact that we had been written to by Patriotic in January and told that there was an offer from Credit Suisse, and having looked at what it was described as an offer, but it turned out to be simply a proposal, and having looked at the implications of the proposal, the cabinet felt that it could not proceed with this matter and that we would have to revert to the decision that we made previously. And if I can just read the decision, that Trinidad Petroleum Holdings, the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, would thank Patriotic Energies and Technologies Company Limited for its proposals to date with respect to the purchase of the assets of Guaracara Refining Company Limited and Paria Fuel Trading Company Limited, and inform Patriotic that the exclusivity granted to it will proceed immediately to return to the open market to explore all other options which may exist for the utilization of Guaracara, the refinery assets, in the shortest possible time frame, with the priority and main conditionality being to determine whether there are any suitable parties interested in operating the refinery. And thirdly, Trinidad Petroleum a proposal for the canvassing of the current market for the exploration of options for the utilization of the assets of Guaracara. Essentially, we could not accept the proposal because the burden on the government was just too onerous. It would take us back to where we were. The country was being asked to, in fact, pay to buy its own asset because we currently own the refinery. We are being asked to pay $5 billion to buy back our own asset and give it away for nothing and allow it to be mortgaged to a third party. So regrettably, the cabinet has concluded that we can't proceed with this matter. That's it.
Thank you, Minister. I turn it over to Minister Khan now.
No, I just, Mr. Imbert articulated quite clearly and lucidly what the cabinet discussed today from the proposal that actually came from Credit Suisse. But just to put some further contextualization to pick up on what he spoke about Petrotrin, we have always made the point that Petrotrin wasn't closed down. Petrotrin was restructured into Heritage, Paria, and Guaracara. Heritage is doing well, as the public knows. It made $1.4 billion in 2019, over $800 million after tax profit in 2020. Heritage cash flow is servicing Petrotrin's loan, and quite successfully. We took the restructuring decision to get out of the refining business. So the state will no longer pump money into the refinery. The refinery was an asset. We offered it on the open market. So if a foreign investor or any other private sector investment wants to come and operate the refinery on terms and conditions that are acceptable to the government, we will so do. What Minister Emmett explained there is getting back to the old Petrotrin model, which the government will resist, and that is the basis for our decision. So we will not be getting back and putting state resources back into the refinery, and the refinery will go back now on the open market to see if there is any interest in its operation. Yeah, so I just wanted to operationally contextualize what the Minister of Finance said. Thank you.
All right, well, we'll open the floor to questions.
So Trinidad and Tobago and the world by extension listening. I think it's clear, and the explanation is as clear as day. And didn't how should I say? It didn't confuse me.
Right.
What I heard compared to what Dominic said to us. It's exactly the same thing. I think they need to put you in finance to work, eh?
But you know, it's interesting, Sharon, it is in option B, which doesn't involve the tax credits. What option B simply is, Patriotic is like a middleman. Well, here what now? You all have a loan paying right now that has the assets held. I could organize for you to refinance that loan with somebody else, you know. Right. And then, so that's all it is, it's just a refinance.
Yeah.
But they're not putting out any money, not 1 cent. So it's like, all right, so we'll give you the 500 million and pay off the existing loan, and then you take out a new loan with Credit Suisse, and you pay in the installments as normal. So, but give us the assets simply because we link you and Credit Suisse so that you can refinance it. And that's it. They're not putting out 1 penny. There is no risk to them, as the minister said. And this is the one instance where I totally agree with the government's decision to reject. Both of those 2 options, absolutely ridiculous.
And as I said when I came here this morning after I heard Dominic, I said I too had my concerns and my reservations. After hearing Dominic and after hearing Minister Imbert and Khan, I now understand fully. So I now support the government 100%. Because I was one of them saying, oh God, Patriotic, you know, it's a local company and then we get them a chance and so on. Not because Mr. Roger is my friend, not because Mr. Ozzy Warwick is my friend, and there are certain people in OWTU who are my friends, not because of that, but because I thought it would have been a good idea to give a local company the ability to do so. But after listening and reading and understanding, I too support the government on this. I ain't going into no deal what I can't win. It doesn't make any sense. That's a risk, a risk to take that you're certainly sure getting into it as you're going into it. You know we're going to lose.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
And I would have asked Mr. Roger if he was in the shoe of the minister, if he would accept something like that's like Mr. Roger selling his house. He has a mortgage and the mortgage needs to be paid off. And I come to him and I say, well, here what, Mr. Roger, I could organize for you to, well, you have mortgages with the public. I could organize for you to get a new mortgage with RBC, right? So when you do that, so you go into RBC, you take the mortgage, and RBC will give you the money to pay off Republic. And then you'll have this new mortgage, but you give me the house because I arranged for you to speak to my loans officer in RBC, right? And now I own the house, but you continue to pay
the mortgage.
That makes sense.
Not making no sense. So you ain't have no house, you ain't have no money, and you had to pay the mortgage.
And you had to pay this mortgage, yeah.
After being rejected 3 times by the government in their quest to acquire the Point-a-Pierre refinery and port Patriotic Energies Technologies Limited is again seeking an urgent meeting with the Minister of Finance, Colm Imbert, to trash out serious misunderstandings. Last evening, Patriotic's director issued a statement saying it had access to the $1 billion US needed to acquire the restart the refinery. The declaration was made in response to a letter issued by Imbert that if the government proceeded with the Patriotic proposal, the company would be getting the refinery for free, which would not be in the interest of the public. However, Patriotic's director said they needed to meet with Imbert to clear up misunderstandings. The director said they have tried meeting with Imbert twice, on February 5th and February 9th, but attempts were futile. In complex financial arrangements such as the one contemplated, Patriotic understands that there is a need for dialogue to ratify positions of parties, since the parties may have varying expectations. One party may request of another terms which may, in this instance, be particularly acceptable to the other. However, in good faith dialogue, parties can reconcile those preferences to arrive at a mutual beneficial compromise, the director said. The company, which is wholly owned by Oilfield Workers Trade Union, requested that the government provide the company with tax credits that are provisioned in the incentive package offered for investment in the oil and gas sector. Patriotics would further like to note that the government currently offers tax credits of 140% of the investment made in the sector. The minister raised an issue with the transferability of the tax credit. It is important to note that this model of financing is commonplace in international financial markets, and as such has been proposed to the government as a path forward, the Patriotic director said. The terms of any tax credit request are subject to negotiations, and Patriotics is ready to address all related concerns, the director said. The company's directors also said there is absolutely no doubt that Patriotic has access to the US $1 billion required to acquire and restart the refinery. There is also no doubt as it relates to its partners to adequately support Patriotic in restarting and profitability operating the assets. The parties now need to work together to finalize the terms under which the government is prepared to receive the upfront payment of US $500 million. If they meet with Imbert and arrive at an agreement, Patriotic said it will make its upfront payment of US $500 million and invest another $500 million to restart the refinery. So that is 100.
Huh? 1 billion.
1 billion
US.
1 billion US. Well, I get 100. How I reach there? So that's 1 billion US. That's how much billion? That's 6 point something.
Yeah.
Billion TT dollars. But Imbert, in a letter on Saturday, said there was a complete misunderstanding of the true nature of transferable tax credits as compared to tax concessions or incentives to industry. Patriotic has said that the tax credits are nothing new and are given to multinational companies making a foreign direct investment in TNT. However, what is being missed is that the tax credits given to other companies investing in TNT are not transferable or tradable. It is only non-transferable tax credits that are given to other companies making investment, and these non-transferable tax credits can only be used to offset tax on income from their own operations and cannot be used by other unrelated companies and therefore do not represent any financial outlay on the part of government, Imbert said. He explained the problem with a transferable tax credit is that it is not linked in any way to the activities, income, or operations of the company involved and is in effect a form of cash or revenue foregone. He also noted a transferable tax credit can be sold on the open market for cash and is a legal and binding obligation of the government, which in this case would have no relationship or connection to the restart or operations of the refinery. Imbert explained that whether the refinery was restarted or not, the proposed transferable tax credits would be sold for cash. Trinidad and Tobago. Simply put, the fundamental conditionality in the financing proposal from Credit Suisse was that the government was required to issue credit through Patriotic, and I think we read this already in the other article.
Yeah.
The US $700 million is fully transferable and tradable tax credits in exchange for the US $500 million that would be paid to Trinidad Petroleum Holdings for the refinery and Paria, Imbert revealed. This would mean if the government gives Credit Suisse US $700 million in fully transferable money markets instruments, these could be sold on the open market. Patriotics would then get the refinery and Paria for free, having put up no money, collateral and security, and could mortgage the refinery and Paria as they saw fit, Imbert revealed. And then Trinidad and Tobago, we will lose all ownership of anything possibly aligned to Trinidad and Tobago.
But the city minister is saying there that Patriotic could mortgage the refinery and the Paria. That is the intent. The only way they're going to get the 500 million from Trafigura is that they have to mortgage it to Trafigura. Otherwise, they can't get the 500 million to restart. And what is also disingenuous on the part of Mr. Roger, when I listened to that part of his press conferences where he was saying, here it is the government, 1 billion US is going to be coming into the economy to benefit. That is not true. 500 million has to go to the government's creditors, which is foreign companies, to release the assets of Paria and Guaracara. So that 500 million is not coming into the economy of Trinidad and Tobago. It's only the 500 million that is to be used to restart the refinery. That's coming in.
And that is just 500 million US that is going to be coming in. And what about the forfeiture of the whole issue with Patriotic and the other company? We lose everything.
Yeah.
We have no...
Exactly, because we give up legal title to those assets. And then the issue that the government is trying to avoid as well is that we don't want where 3 years or 5 years down the road, Patriotic comes to us because they're in a financial bind and we end up with another clico. We're asking the government to come and bail you out, and the same thing they wanted to avoid, having to spend unnecessary money, comes and happens again.
So then we're going back to the same Petrotron issue of how much billions of dollars we have to pay at the end of the year.
Yes.
And you could think if that was happening now in this pandemic, what would happen to us? We'd have plenty mess in my pants.
Yeah.
All right, so Trinidad and Tobago, the answer coming up. Nescafe 3-in-1, a rich coffee aroma that builds your sense up, a flavor that you savor and overflows your cup. 3-in-1 coffee, cream and sugar, rich, right and ready to go. A perfect Nescafe 3-in-1 coffee, cream and sugar. Just add water and experience a perfect cup of coffee every time. 3-in-1 coffee, just add water. Please. It's right and ready to go. Perfect Nescafe. Nestles good food, good life. And of course, guys, remember to win prizes on IWER stage and on the Street 919 FM. You need to text on your B-Mobile or digital handset 9191, and of course put your name, put the program that you're listening to, so you're eligible to be part of the prize winning. All right? And remember, together we have fun, whether on the road or home. Now is the time to take a break. The greatest flavor hand in hand. Hold back hunger all the way. Working, liming Dixie all the way. Share the good times, Dixie Biscuit. Work till midnight, Dixie Biscuit. When it comes to a snack, don't matter the mood, there is a Dixie for that. Trinidad and Tobago, we go to the ads. When we come back, we try to open the lines and have some discussions with you. Hope you understood what we try to bring forward this morning on our court of opinion right on the Street 919 FM. We'll be back.
Tell me why you're beating woman. That's your mother. Why you're raping woman. That's your daughter. Tell me why you're killing woman. That's your sister. Tell me why you're abusing woman. Your grandmother. Tell me why you're beating woman. That's your mother. Tell me why you're raping woman. That's your daughter. Tell me why you're killing woman. That's your sister. Tell me why you're abusing woman. Your grandmother. Stop the violence against the women. Stop the violence against all women. You're supposed to love woman, not to rape and kill woman. You're supposed to love woman and not to abuse woman. Stop the violence against the women. Stop the violence against all women. Real men don't beat woman. Real men don't love woman. Real men respect woman. Real men protect woman. Stop the violence against the women. Stop the violence against all women. Real men know that abusing women not right. Real men know that mistreating them can't be right. Tell me who's your mother? A woman. Your wife and your daughter? A woman. Women are your sisters? A woman. Your aunt and grandmothers? A woman. Stop the violence against the women. Stop the violence against a woman. You're supposed to love woman, not to rape and kill woman. You're supposed to love woman and not to abuse woman. Stop the violence against the women. Stop the violence against a woman. Real men don't beat woman. Real men don't love woman. Real men respect woman. Real men protect woman. Stop the violence against the women. Stop the violence against a woman. I'm ashamed to tell you as man. When I see the way some men abuse woman. Who did wipe your boomsy? When you was a baby. Who guide and protect we? When we father leave we? Stop the violence against the women. Stop the violence against a woman. You're supposed to love woman, not to rape and kill woman. You're supposed to love woman and not to abuse woman. Stop the violence against the women. Stop the violence against a woman. Real men don't beat woman. Real men don't love woman. Real men respect woman. Real men protect woman. Stop the violence against the woman. Stop the violence against a woman. A woman is God's special present to man. Without she, tell me who go make your children. When she first conceive you, a woman, she could have aborted you. A woman, now you turn a big man. A woman, you're beating up woman. A woman, stop the violence against the woman. Stop the violence against a woman. You're supposed to love woman, not to rape and kill woman. You're supposed to love woman and not to abuse woman. Stop the violence against the woman. Stop the violence against a woman. Real men don't beat woman. Real men don't love woman. Real men respect woman. Real men protect woman. Stop the violence against the woman. Stop the violence against a woman. Tell me why you're beating woman. That's your mother. Tell me why you're raping woman. That's
JQ Auto Parts Division says it's an assault on the automotive and only available at Tobago Color Shop, suppliers of paint, plumbing, and hardware materials. Old Farm Road, Shore Park, Tobago. Open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Call 725-5873 or 474-2456. And in Trinidad at Johnny Q, 15 R. Peter Avenue, Woodbrook. Remember, batteries from $488.
Hey guys, it's Aisha Wells here. Listen up. If you're considering selling or renting your house in Trinidad and Tobago, then call Keelan George with O'Neill's Real Estate Group. He's a good friend of mine and he's been in the business for over 6 years. First, selling real estate in Atlanta, Georgia, and now right here in Trinidad and Tobago. He has a strategic online marketing presence that actually attracts thousands of home buyers and renters. Plus, with his home selling advice and techniques, he's getting homes sold really fast. Keelan will actually guarantee you sell your home, or get this, you can cancel the listing agreement and pay nothing at any time. That's right, you heard me, nothing at any time. Selling your home doesn't have to be stressful, people. Check out www.o'neillrealestateTT.com. O'Neill is spelled O-N-E-I-L, or just call Keelan direct at 363-4030. That's 363-4030.
When you text on the Street 919 FM, you can win weekly fabulous prizes. Text to win. Using your B-Mobile or Digicel handset, text your name to 9191, which allows you to win. One winner will be selected every Friday at 5 p.m. Listen, text, and win. You can also view live streams on Facebook at The Street 919 FM and YouTube at The Street 919 FM. Text to win on The Street 919 FM.
Turn your lights down low and listen to the Master's Radio.
The Church of the Firstborn Assembly Miracle Center of 399 Eastern Main Road, Guayco in Sangre Grande is pleased to present Pastor Morris and Agnes Johnson and guests on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays here on the Street 919 FM. The Ministry of Worship Children's Hour and the Word is on Sundays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. On Tuesdays from 9 p.m. to midnight, see Jesus in every book of the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. And on Wednesdays from 9 p.m. to midnight, where we deal with current affairs from a biblical perspective. Tell your neighbors, tell your friends, tell everyone. For further information, visit us at www.churchofthefirstbornassembly.org or find us on Facebook. Email us at church668hope@gmail.com or call us at 753-1113 or 236-7271. Your free will gifts and offerings will be greatly appreciated. First Citizens Bank account number 795222.
Turn your radio on. Turn your radio. Turn your radio on. Turn your radio.
Royal Castle happily presents our New Year giveaway. When you buy a family meal, you could be in to win some happiness. A kitchen appliance combo of a new stove, fridge, and microwave. Whoa! A living room set, a washer-dryer combo, or a dining room set. Other goodies include Samsung Smart TVs, grocery vouchers, or one of 20 tablets. Just write your info on your bill and slip it into the entry box in store. It's easy to win with our New Year giveaway.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
All right, so Trinidad and Tobago, we are back. And just to continue to give you some of our housekeeping, these are the days and times when you feel to drink and lime. Hard wine. Release your stress and vibe when you're sipping on Karaya's hard wine. Sipping on Karaya's for a century hard wine. Drink responsibly. And of course, Johnny Q Hardware and Auto Parts Division. It's an assault on batteries, Power Master, Optima Varta, and a Megastar batteries starting from $480. Yes, $488 is what I said. At Tobago Color Shop, Old Farm Road, Shaw Park, Tobago. Numbers to call 725-5873 or 474-2456. And Johnny Q, 15 R. Peter Avenue in Woodbrook, 632s. That's 63 TOOLS. Trinidad and Tobago. So, we're back. And as promised, we said we're going to take some calls. So we invite you to call on numbers 634-2081 or 466-5391. And just remember, guys, text on your B Mobile or handset or Digicel handset to 9191. Remember to put your name and the program you're listening to. All right? Caller, good morning.
Good morning to you, Sharon.
Good morning, my dear.
Morning to Dominic.
Morning, sir.
Morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension, the titans of democracy and our guru, extraordinary Mr. Chance. Sharon, what you all came with there this morning, what about we, the people, the taxpayers of Trinidad and Tobago? So I'm to we money. Like Roger was drinking too. I looked on and listened before I get out of hand, and I hope Mr. Chance and Carol, Jenny, I hope everybody gets in. I'm gone. You all have a pleasant day. Oi, Mano.
Thank you very much. Yes, Mano, good morning.
So, man, they call me a coming, you know. Good morning to everybody, Trinidad and Tobago. Sharon, when I heard, morning, Dominic.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, man. Bruce, what's going on with you? I know you're not there, like, home. Anyway, when I heard that thing first time, I said, well, now, what kind of thing, what kind of, I said, them know the thing that the Prime Minister stupid and Mr. Imbo's stupid? Give you something, you go in and sell it, you get in the money, and then the government may have to come and bail you out sometime because you probably can't operate it. You was operating all the time. Your employees, the people who working there, operating all the time. When you hire them now, you as a union, you can't work them because you couldn't get them to work before. I always say something fishy in that when you borrowing money from the government to sell it to somebody because you end up selling it, you can't operate it, you couldn't operate it all the time, you work out all the time. So, Mr. Roger, go and come again. Let the government get some money. This is our tax money. This is not what you think it should be, you know. Our tax money. And we decide, we intend now to let the country go forward with making money, not putting out money all the time. Everybody want. Anyway, love to Trinidad and Tobago. And let me say happy birthday to Candace of Bonnet Gardens. Morning, happy birthday to you, Mary. That is my girlfriend, daughter. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Manu. Caller, good morning.
Hi, Sharon and Dominic again.
Morning.
Sharon, Dominic and Sharon, my opinion at the beginning of this deal here is the same as the end. Because I think that Patriotic do not have any track record of running business. They were a union, and that is the thing with the union in Trinidad and Tobago. They take from the workers, and they only represent the workers for increase in salary or wrongdoing or whatever on the job, and they get legal advice or legal representation for them to go to either keep the job or get back the job or whatever. But what does the OWTU own in terms of assets and business, and what business does they run? Because I always say OWTU represents all Petrotrin, because there's so much business that Petrotrin, so much business out there that sell or do services or all kind of things when Petrotrin was in operation. How much was owned by the OWTU? I don't think any. all these services and all the equipment and all these things that Petrochem used in the past. Was OWTU any supplier? Were they doing anything else but taking views from the workers? And when the head leaves, they leave with how much million and a Mercedes or a BM, whatever, or whatever, they have the car and they get it and they go on about the business, and OWTU continue, and next head come, they retire, they do the same thing, the workers. So this is the problem with OWTU and maybe getting financial backing, because they have no track record to go on. So my thing in the beginning of this, the government must not lose 1 penny of the revenue or taxpayers' money on this deal. Not 1 cent, and mustn't put anything up in order to lose it, that risk of losing it. OWTU have no track record. They need to get the action, and that is why they maybe cannot get a financer. I would love to see them own it, but the track record they have and no business history, I don't think they will be ever ready to go through with this business deal. And that applies to all other unions. Look at PSA. Look at how much buildings up at PSA ground long circular road that's rotting away. No business model, no business sense. The WASA going and thinking, all right, we hear it in the pipeline privatization. You think the union could pick up anything and say, okay, we could do this part, we could take this the operations, or we could take this. You think they could, any of these unions in Trinidad and Tobago could handle any business side, have a big business model to hold on anything? And that is why I say OWTU were in trouble from beginning, and they're going to be in trouble with the end with this deal. But not a cent of the assets and money of Trinidad and Tobago should be put up. So with OWTU, with anything that we could lose it. That is my opinion. And I want to say hello, Sharon, to North Carolina.
Oh,
for
yes.
so long I say her.
Morning to them.
Yes, oh gosh, and she always listens. She might say, oh God, Carol Williams say, hi to all the people in North Carolina who listening. Joyce, Hurdes, everybody. Hi. All right, Sharon, bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Caller, good afternoon.
Good morning, Ms. Sharon. Good morning to Dominic.
Morning.
Good morning to people. They go beautiful contribution, and I think everybody are thinking out of the box. So let me put it in layman terms, right? What Dominic described. I have a house, right? And I want to say, so basically somebody is telling me, give them the house, and I'll probably get paid later, and also take up the slack of paying the mortgage. That sounds like a deal to you? That sounds like a good deal for me? Dominic?
Nope.
That doesn't make any sense at all. But I am waiting to hear what the opposition had to say tomorrow, please God. Because I noticed that they're very quiet on this whole matter. Mm-hmm. The question is, who advised Mr. Roger and his people? Who are the technocrats? They question the technocrats in the government, but who are the technocrats who advised Mr. Roger on this deal? Why didn't they accept the first offer from the government? Why didn't they work with that? Who is smart? You see, that is why Miss Sharon and Dominic earlier, I'm glad that we're taking 2 steps backwards. And also good morning to Ms. Davy, wherever she is. Be wary of.
You see what I tell you with these WhatsApp calls? All right, so Tobago now text me. They said they're off the air. All right, I'll send a message. You have to call us normally. You can't call us WhatsApp. We'll always encounter problems. Caller, good morning.
Good morning to you, Sharon.
Good morning, my dear.
Good morning to Dominic.
Morning.
To the people of TNT, Miss Monica, Mommy Sauce, Zena, everybody. Oh, Mr. Chance, our guru. And you, Dominic, our financial guru. Dominic, I always tell you, as a patriot of TNT, you could have go and advise the OWTN, and me would have gone and advise them, maybe free of charge, so they could help them to make right decisions. Dominic, you laid out well for us. And let me tell you, you know what how I see in this too? This Credit Suisse and the other company, you know what? They see us maybe as a third world country that they could pull the wool over our eyes. And you know when they're taking out the insurance, they always tell you, read the fine print. What they didn't bargain for was we have some brilliant minds at TNT, don't mind me small, and their third world, that they could really go through that thing with a fine teeth comb and catch them. You understand? Imagine you want to get, nobody does nothing for free. Those days are gone. Nobody does nothing for nothing. There has to be a catch. So what they would have done is to find out that they will get it for with all the perks, and then go and sell, make money, and our head and maybe laugh at us. Look at them, as if they've done their heads. But they know they have bright minds in Trinidad and Tobago. We're small, but we're brilliant out there. You understand, Dominic?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And be able to read the fine print. And I mean, I'm so disappointed in OWTU. I don't know, I mean, everybody in Trinidad and Tobago wanted you all to get it. But somebody didn't advise you well. Somebody didn't read the fine print of these European countries who felt they could have just walk in and then go all the way to the bank after they make the deal with us. The government hands tied. They can't do nothing. And then what? Be back to square one? Come on, man, people. You have, I don't know, Professor Gregory Maguire was there as a technocrat. Then we have Dr. Farrell. We have all these brilliant minds to advise the government. We couldn't smell a rat. So I'm really, really sad. And but we have thinking people here, bright minds, who they can see through and only have to come again, go into some other business. And as my namesake said, you have no track record of doing business. So no financial institute will to lend only that kind of money. You know, Dominic, when you're going to do any kind of business with the banks, they go back and they check you out and they want to know what is your experience in different matters, and so otherwise nothing for you. You have to bring somebody, a guarantor, who could really say, well, I will take up this slack if you can't pay, you know? So it's a lot of things. So I say hats off to the government and the technocrats for smelling the rat, seeing, reading the fine print, and saving us. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Zena, good morning.
Good morning, Sharon. Good morning, Dominic.
Good morning.
Thank God, all the break it, Dominic. Break it down with a fine teeth comb. Break it down.
I and all didn't understand myself.
I had an idea how it was going, but Dominic, break it right down. I want nothing more. And I'm saying to myself, I'm waiting on the opposition to hear them, because them ain't going to tell the people like how Dominic breaking it down here, you know. You're going to hear how this big government bad and how they this, they, that, and the other. And this is the thing that makes this country upside down, because you know something ain't good. You've seen it. Mr. Roger, all you want to buy a Mercedes-Benz with Morby pocket. Not if you ain't either a Morby. So all you leave it alone for me, please now. And Sharon, I want to say to all your manage the team there, who all your team that fixing all your station, the wavelength. Arima, certain parts of Arima, not getting it at all or getting it low. I think I heard somebody in Grandy say that too. So, up all your ante there for me, I don't know what it is, something going to miss, because we were hearing you all good all the time. I and all. When I'm listening to you on the phone inside, I have to jam it on my ear. So, whatever it is, and I'm very sorry, this program will have to be repeated when people in Tobago hearing it, because this is what we want people in Tobago to hear. We want them to hear it. We want them to hear it broken down in those terms, because people will come there with a Hasikara story and make them show them how the government wicked and bad, when these are the programs they need to hear. So all I organize good for me because I want to get wet it in everybody's thick skull, and I'm waiting for the opposition tomorrow to hear them. Thank you, Dominic, again. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you very much, Zena. Caller, good morning.
Morning, Sharon.
Good morning.
Morning. Give me a Ghost Friday, girl.
Oh, God, boy, listen. I will tell all you about that one of these days.
Anyway.
Dinah and Dominic and them could handle their stories well, very well.
No, it was a sweet program, boy. You didn't listen when you didn't listen?
I listened to a point and then I had to get to do something.
Yeah. Sharon, you have your life to live in. You had to do your thing. You had to do your thing too. Why, I just want to say, Dominic, boy, so the bottom line, Dominic, they couldn't find the 500 piece of wallet. They couldn't get that. They couldn't get the money.
Nah, not.
So they didn't have the wallet. They didn't have the 500 million wallet.
Yeah.
Right? So at the end of the day, right? We go get accuse Sharon and Dominic for they go start for the 1% rate talk again.
They're gonna start it. They done started already.
Yeah. We just defend the 1% because we don't want them to do nothing for the black community. But you know the question I want to ask certain people: have this administration, Dr. Rowley administration, given anything to the Lebanese Syrian community without proper tendering processes and proper bidding processes? Sharon, you know of anything of any company, any stuff, any business? Dominic, you know any?
No.
Oh, any NIF bond was created with. We heard the rumor that the community wanted a certain hard liquor. The doctor only pick it up and give them it.
As a matter of fact, he sold us in one of his either speeches or somewhere that he was a very unpopular person in that arena. And he told us we would see people coming after him. You remember that? Because of some decisions that was made.
Yes. With coal, the NIF one, people collecting millions today from the payouts from the NIF one, Dominic.
Yeah.
Right? But we are accused of defending the people because we don't want anything for the black community. But I want to tell people, I want to tell somebody something. My mother brought me up with a lot of love. I live in a multi-ethnic plural society, and I have friends on all levels at all races. And I don't have to be a racist to be black conscious. I don't have to be a racist to be black conscious. I deal with mutual respect, and if people don't respect me, I move on. Don't matter the race. Right? And that's how I live my life. If people feel that they are to be racist, that is their problem. They deal with that. As I said before, I'm not ashamed to say, a lot of Indian people were very good to me and my family and all different races. But it must be based on respect, Sharon. I must say, right? So I just want to leave it there. The fact of the matter is, the government did what they had to do. We are patriotic to get the refinery. They then had the cream. The government see the risk in it. Probably another clico could have emerged out of it. Dr. Rowley say that here what's going on. It's not about government isn't magic, it's management. And so far, Dr. Rowley and this present administration haven't shown me that he have done anything contrary. So what people have been saying about 1% and all those sorts of things. So for right now, my support is with Dr. Rowley doing what is right. Sharon and Dominic, somebody told me that the Patriotic there's a grocery. They have a grocery. Sharon, you heard that the OWT has a grocery?
I can't say I've never heard that.
I've never heard that. No.
Before.
I think somebody said that they have a grocery. That's something to find out, and don't say that they don't do anything about business, and we are accused of that. So all I
will find out. I will find out.
Yeah, I heard they have a grocery. All I have to say is that everybody was wish the people well. Nobody didn't wish them well. But at the end of the bigger picture is our children and our grandchildren. Sharon, let's wait program. Thanks. A good program, Jill. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. This looking like Mount St. George number. I hope it's him. Mount St.
Miss
George.
Sharon,
How are you?
good. I just come from the Lord's house, man, and I just hearing you all.
Also, we back on the radio?
Yes, you're back on the radio. When you were saying that somebody text you, it had lost a little bit. Cause I just walked in the house and then it came back.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yes, so I don't hear much, but I just wanted you to know that Tobago is on, so you could continue with what you're saying.
Thank you so kindly, my darling.
All right, I'll call back again. All right. You have a blessed day, and Mr. Dominic also.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good.
Good morning to you, Brian. I know this is up your field.
Right now, my feet looking barren. Pleasant good morning to you, Ms. Felix. Good morning, Dominic.
Morning, sir.
Dominic, you put it across very, very well. I think Zena put it across the best.
He got it?
Yeah. But Zena did very well. She said you want to buy Mercedes Benz, but you have Moby Pocket.
Moby Pocket. Come on.
You know, what we were being told was that we should not have to worry. That's what we were being told. As I told you all the other day, I was hearing something, but a lot of people disappointed. Apparently, they don't have. Now let me say this. OWTU doesn't have to run the refinery, because there are people who can run the refinery. So getting personnel to run the refinery and for it to be successful is not the issue. Right? That is not the issue. The issue is getting a financier to purchase the refinery. But the problem is simply this. I am of the view, because of what I heard the minister indicated, is that nobody wants to take the risk of using the refinery as collateral for their money. I think that is the issue. Dominic, do you agree?
To an extent.
Because if that was the case, they would not ask for a guarantor of their money from the refinery, from the government. Right? So therefore, because if that was the case, they would have, the Patriotic would have easily walked with that check into the meeting and say, listen, I have a check here for $500 million US. And therefore, as a result of that, the financiers, whoever they may be at this point in time, don't want to take the risk, because I am of the view, as Royal Bank said, that they have not done their due diligence as to exactly to the extent of what the refinery is really and truly worth. And once you don't have that, at this point in time, especially in this global market where refineries have been closing down and so on, any financier may want more than to hold the refinery, and may want a guarantee in case anything should go wrong and anything should go belly up. They would not be left with a refinery that they may not be able to recoup.
No, but the challenge, Brian, is that Trafigura wants the refinery. But remember, you can only have one party with first lane, which is what Trafigura wants. So, if it is with Credit Suisse now, if they give the 500 million to OWTU, OWTU wants to give that 500 million to the government to release the lien on the assets.
The lien, yeah.
And then they are going to pledge the assets to Trafigura. So then there's nothing for them to pledge to Credit Suisse.
But what I was going to say eventually is, why doesn't Trafigura purchase the refinery and give the money for it to be repaired and for startup?
Or let Trafigura give them $1 billion US. That's all.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Why doesn't Trafigura give them the money to purchase the refinery, give them the money for the startup as well? It's only another $500 million US.
And
Trafigura is so interested.
And Brian, it brings us back to understand, why are these people trying to hoodwink us into believing otherwise? Simple.
Well, you see, a question was asked by one of your callers a short while ago, and I had asked some of the guys this question, some of the comrades. I say, who doing the negotiations on behalf of Patriotic? Are these people as good as we want them, as we want to believe that they are, so that they can negotiate, or are they a bunch of tricksters? Because we don't know. Every time we hear something coming out of that, it's coming from Ozzy Warwick. But apparently, Ozzy Warwick is not the one doing the negotiations on behalf of Patriotic. I don't know. And I would like to know, who are these people what is your experience in doing these type of negotiations to negotiate on behalf of Patriotic with the government's team that they have appointed? You understand? Because I cannot understand for the life of me that they want the government to put out money for something that they don't even want to have any dealings with as far as putting out any funds at all is concerned. And they tried it on 2 occasions, or more than 2 occasions as a matter of fact. So I am suggesting to Comrade Roger that they get Trafigura, if Trafigura is really interested, because we have done business for years with Trafigura in Trinidad and Tobago, right? So they know the refinery, they know what the refinery can do, and they know the type of products that can be bought, that can be gained from the refinery. Buy the refinery outright and buy over the business, you understand? And so that they would have the refinery, a lien on the refinery. Not so, Dominic?
Correct.
And then the government would remove the lien that they have on the refinery, and they would have $500 million in the back pocket, and Patriotic could do whatever they want with respect to Trafigura.
But you know, Brian, the thing that confuses me, right? In the original proposal, which found favor with the government and resulted in
$700 million,
was that, you remember, Patriotic made a bid for all the assets of Petrotrin. They bid $700 million for the refinery.
Yes, I remember. That was the first
$300 million for the non-core assets like the Augustus Long Hospital and
right.
The sports club and the golf course.
Yes.
Who was financing that $1 billion?
But that is what I want to know as well, because I can't understand. Because when the government, now when the finance minister indicated, he said, "Listen, we're going to give you all a 3-year moratorium, and you all will pay us for the next 10 years." Why didn't Roger say, no, we want to pay all your off, because we want to have full authority to do as we please?
Yes.
Why didn't they say, listen, well, we don't want no change from that. We have $700 million US, take it and give us everything that we want. The only thing that the government did say, though, is that they did not want to give up the hospital.
That's what they said. The non-core assets were not for sale.
Yeah, right? But the $700 million that was first offered in the RFP, right? Why? And when the finance minister said, "Well, listen, we give all you a 3-year moratorium plus 10 years," why didn't Comrade Roger and they say, "Well, no, we made an offer in the RFP and we want to stick it. We want to pay you all off, and this is what we want, and negotiate from that point of view, rather than come back now to this 500. It could be worth 500,000 US today." And we don't want to worry about the 10 years and the 3-year moratorium. Just give us the 500, the worth of it today, which is $500 million, and that's it. I found that to be, that is my issue. That is my bugbear right now. There's somebody not telling us something with respect to the first offer that was made with respect to the $700 million. And I think PG Roger is supposed to come out and say, I will ask him, when you made the offer in the RFP, did you have the $700 million? And if you did, how come you can't raise $500 million today?
No, but Brian, when the government made the last announcement before this one, right, that they rejected the offer the second time, when Mr. Roger held his press conference, he said that they came to that when they offered their first proposal, that they had the backing of Citibank and they had the $700 million, and it's because the government made them this offer that trust broke in the deal, and the government caused this thing to go awry. So why you didn't just go back to Citibank and get the $700 million?
Well, I really don't know.
Something again adding up, and it's smelling fishy.
Again, it comes back to who doing the negotiation on behalf of
Patriotic.
Because I can't understand. If you tell me, Brian, I'm going to give you $500 million, and I say, cool, no scene. I'm coming back just now. I run them through and I say, boy, here what's going on. No, $700 million, sorry. I say, but here what's going on. They offer me something else, and I feel I might want to go with that. Right? So you only instead of putting out $700 million. Because remember when they offered the $700 million, it was no moratorium yet. Remember that $700 million was in the RFP. That means that was full blow.
Yes.
So we ain't talking about moratorium yet. So I offer you $700 million. So that, as far as you understand that to mean that, okay, he's going to pay me $700 million for the refinery and whatever. The only issue that we have to discuss now is what are going to get outside of Paria and the refinery. Not so?
You're correct.
You agree so far, right? So then you say, look, here what? I want to ease you up a little bit, bro. I'll give you a moratorium. You can pay me the 700 million over 10 years, but for the first 3 years, you fix your business, get your refinery back up and so on, and we're going to negotiate from that perspective. You say, all right, well, that's something even better. I ain't have to run to look for no 700. So I run back by Citibank. And then all of a sudden, everything gone left.
Brian, you remember a company called Sunstone? That was mentioned in the earlies from, I think it was Suriname, that was supposed to raise the 1 billion for them.
Yeah, this guy, the
Mr. Van Dyke.
name?
Van Dyke.
Right. Yeah.
What happened to him?
I will talk about what you see, Dominic, people could come and they go say this and they go say that and they go say the other. And that's why I didn't say much about this until this point in time. Because I wanted to see where it was going, because the things were changing so much. Every time I had a meeting, something changed.
Yes.
You understand? And this was my concern. I said, why 700 million now? 500 million. And then I didn't understand what was good. Then the people, the financiers were changing. Until we finally came to Credit Suisse.
We had Citibank, we had RBC, we have Credit Suisse.
Everybody, this is my point. According to you, even Citibank originally offered the 700 million. Well,
yes.
Allegedly, as far as we know, according to Comrade Roger, and it was 700 million. Full payment.
Yes.
I don't know where this went upside down, but there's something amiss, according to Sharon. And until we get the real and true story, I feel, what I want to see? I want to see they have a meeting with the minister and with Roger, and that will not happen in the same place with people asking questions. I would love to go to that meeting to ask certain questions, because there are certain things that have happened that now, I understand where the minister is coming from, and that cannot happen. I understand those offer A and offer B cannot happen. And what the minister is saying, hey, bring a check for me for 500 million. That's all we want. And then you could take a refinery and go. Because that's what the minister said eventually. Right? And he did not do that. He brought proposals. And that is not going to work. And you can't, and I agree with the government, you can't be giving you another 15 days or another 20 days and you want to meet again. Bring a check. Bring a check. And then we'll talk after that about what you're getting and what you're not getting. But once I see a check and I can put it in my bank account, I will be able to sit down and we will renegotiate what you could get, maybe perhaps on different terms later on or something as the case. Because you cannot run a refinery without a hospital. It is practically impossible. You need something in case something happens to any of the workers. They have to be able to go somewhere where they could receive quick medical attention. You understand? So that is another issue. But my problem is simply this changing and the different figures, and the moratorium has gone through the window, and the 700 million to 500 million, and I really don't understand where it is that the OWTU, and somebody asked a question. I have never known the OWTU to own a grocery. I think they have been in business, but that was many years ago. It was a small business, and they do have own 1 or 2 buildings, but outside of that, I don't know about them owning any grocery. I may be wrong, but as far as I know, in all my years of talking with them, I've never known them to own any, because I never went to no grocery. And I was a member of the OWTU for over 22 years. Right? So, as far as I know, that is about it, really, Sharon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day, guys.
You too.
I'm seeing a press conference going on at this time. You know, I'm seeing that the MSG is having a media conference. But we having a conference here too. And all that we're saying simply is what they regurgitating, you know.
Yeah.
And Brian said it just now. Bring the check and come and negotiate.
Yeah.
Put on the check. I bring my... Let me talk. Business. Manos.
Yeah.
It's either you want it or you don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
You adhere to the rules and conditions or you don't.
But all I anticipate all we're going to hear from Mr. Abdullah there in that thing is that the government should sit down with Patriotic to negotiate.
Yes.
For
how much more time again?
They're just playing for time.
How much more time again? It is outlined. It's straightforward.
Yeah.
You want the tax exemptions or the concession or whatever you want to call it or however, but it's not for you to take and sell it on the open market to make money off of us. We should make money off our own selves.
Yes.
Not somebody taking our assets and going out there to make money.
And then you cannot simply come and put in the public domain for sympathy. Well, we would be paying between 75 million to 100 million US in taxes every year. If it is that the government would accede to option 1, it means it would take the government 10 years, based on your lower figure of 75 million US a year, to make back the tax credits. So we would not be earning 1 penny until after. And even so, that is revenue that the government was supposed to come to the government anyway from your operation, separate and apart from the sale.
Dominic, you know, sometimes I tell you, I am a good fighter for cause that need to be fought. But, brother, sometimes they make me feel like, oh God. Look, Mr. Chance.
Morning, good.
Help out your daughter here.
No, darling, good morning, my special daughter. Good morning, Dominic. Good morning,
sir. My darling.
1285, Mommy Sauce. Yes, everybody. Angie, Jenny, Malatina, Clip, Mr. Vataria, my good friend, and Rowley Jr. And of course, our Titans abroad. Now, I first of all, I want to start by complimenting both you and Dominic. And I've said to you, Sharon, before, that radio is one of the best forms of communication to inform public opinion. And it's just a couple of days ago, radio celebrated 100 years, you know. And television and all the other formats have not touched radio as a means of educating and informing people. But it's really how you set up the format, how you do it, so that people understand and appreciate it. And I want to compliment both of you. Dominic did an excellent analysis.
Excellent.
And the way it was presented by Sharon, in terms of giving the context of the minister, she played it for us to hear. And she read it. And Dominic gave his opinion. That is setting the stage and the context for people to understand and appreciate. And it doesn't happen by VAPs. So I want to compliment you all. It doesn't happen just so. You have to think about what you're doing and present it to the public. And you know at the end of it what happened? Hear what Ms. Zina said. They want to buy a Mercedes with Moby money. And you see, that is an appreciation and understanding of all the technical talk. It comes down to one thing. Mano put it nice too. So the ordinary man in the street will understand what it is. He may not be able to go into all the technical ramifications like Dominic, but in the final analysis, he going on with listeners. They want to buy a Mercedes Benz with Moby money.
And Mr. Chance, stick up in there. And rightfully, as I said to Dominic, I think we need to do a press conference and educate the people on to exactly what is taking place. Because you see, when you hear the mischief makers and the misinformers start to talk, oh God, the government is the worst thing. But this morning, very quietly and coolly, we sat here and Dominic opened the whole pack of cards.
And that is the point I'm making. You don't have to. This is what it is. You don't have to have a press conference, you know. You have to have a conversation.
That's true.
And that's what you're having. You need a press conference. And that's what you are having this morning, a conversation with the people. And I'm saying that, you know, as a teacher, you know that how it is that people learn things is the way they respond. So your conversation this morning, you hear what Zina said? You hear what Manu said? And that is what you do. That's you understand how people learn from what you do. So I want to compliment both of you on that and the setting and the context. Right? And I also want to say that when you hear the media and the opposition leaders say inward must go, I want to let you know that, as you know, many of you know that I've been in the public service for many years and served as head of a department. So you will understand that when a minister takes a note to the cabinet, it's not the minister saying that, you know. Every ministry is made up of experts in several areas, and legal department,
and they're technocrats. And they're technocrats.
It is the bringing forward of all those. Listen to the minister. I wrote down some of the things he said. When the technocrats picked it up, we said that? Say back you hear him say, and when the technocrats did this, and when the technocrats did that, it is technocrats. And many times, like in this big issue of big business, the government does not inform itself. The government sometimes go out of the ministry and seek independent experts as well. So that this is not a, when you say input and input, yes, input is the man as the minister who's presenting the cabinet note. So he has to take responsibility as the Minister of Finance. But that cabinet note is researched by technocrats in the ministry and outside of the ministry. And as this Prime Minister has always said, he does not advise himself. I want to remind you, when the Prime Minister brought the amendment to the THA in the Parliament, what did he say? I got the advice of senior counsel. So he wasn't coming there. And I remember he has an AG too, you know. But the AG is not a senior counsel. So he's showing you he is not only taking advice from within his ministry, he got another 3 senior counsels. So that is what his government, his leadership is bringing us to. That is a Prime Minister who's accepting the advice and being able to broaden the situation to do things in the best interest of all the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I thought I wanted to put that on a platform. So people say, if both and in both. Yes, it's in both presenting it. But the cabinet note is presented after all the views and ideas of the technocrats in the ministry, outside of the ministry, are put together, and then they've set forward a recommendation. And that recommendation is sent to the cabinet to approve. And the cabinet will say, yes, if they want to get more answers with it, they have the Financial and General Purpose Committee, where they will send it to them, and they will invite the people to talk and everything. So that decision is not like that. So believe everyone get up and write something and say, look, no. There's a whole process that has to take place before the government. So in the final analysis, the decision was made by the cabinet, which is really the government of Trinidad and Tobago. And that decision, in my view, is well informed. Let me close by this point, that the cabinet decision has one thing in it which I want to remind the people. It says that Patriotic no longer has the exclusive rights to bid in. They no longer are the priority bidders. But, you know, in the open market, they could come back and bid, So, and that's a point I want to make the people understand, that the decision, if you listen well to Minister Police, and the decision of cabinet is, that's an important part of the cabinet notes when you write cabinet notes. You have to say what is, at the end of the day, when you get back the cabinet note from the government, as a public servant, you're looking for the decision of cabinet. So when you write a cabinet note and it come back to you, you say, and this cabinet give a decision. And one of the decisions of cabinet is that Patriotic no longer has the exclusive right. In other words, remember they were the priority bidders? They no longer have that. The matter is now going to the open market. And open mean open. So, you know, I might take a bid if, you know, just joking. But the thing about it is onto the open market. So it's not the last thing for Patriotic. So those who want to tell you that they kick them, no. It is now onto the open market, and Patriotic has to bid it together all the international bidders and bid. Because at the moment before, government said we give you the first right. And now, having tried them out 2 or 3 times, government say we're moving it away and we're bringing it back to the open market. But let me close again by saying, well done, Dominic and Sharon, and you got it clear, because Ms. Zina and Manu give you the real ground talk. They're trying to buy a Mercedes-Benz with Moby money. Thank you very much.
Thank you so kindly, Mr. Chance. Well, guys, it's 11:49 a.m. Remember, today's the 21st of February, 2021. And just to remind you people to go to your handset, both Be Mobile or Digicel, and text 9191. Put your name and the program you're listening to, and you're eligible to win a prize. Every Friday at 5 p.m., the winners will be announced. All right, so don't forget to do that. Caller, good morning.
Good day, Ms. Sharon.
Morning.
Morning, and Mr. Dominic is there?
Yes, sir. Morning.
Oh boy, oh boy. I would like to congratulate you all on a show well done. These are your intelligent callers who took the time and explained the situation, because we know this week ahead going to be a rough week. There's going to be a lot of detractors calling in and trying to...
It is still going to be, because they're going to still come with a fake and misinterpretation of the whole thing, and they will still come to try to fool some of us. They will still
exactly. So I am applauding you all, and I want you all to keep up the good work, keep on informing the public after the real situation. Because as far as I understand, there's a set of half and bluff from Mr. Roger and them. All they want to come and all they don't have all the money done. However, they try to split that it can go work. You understand? You can't go and do business without no money. Bottom line. Right? So I want to thank you all on a job well done. And keep on pushing on the narrative, keep on educating the masses, let people... And one more thing I want to deal with before I go, Sharon and Mr. Dominic. I couldn't believe last week I turned on to the station on a program, and I hear an African man like myself crying like if somebody beating him. I was shocked, I was appalled when I heard that. Telling us, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, that Mrs. Bissessa is the mother of this nation, and the mother and the mother. I want to ask that caller from last week.
You want me to tell you something before you ask the caller?
Yeah, go ahead, Ms. Felix.
Ask him what is the treatment that he gives out to his own mother.
Oh, God, my God. Oh, God. I feel I'm going to ask him that.
Ask him what is the treatment he's given his own mother. Ask him how the colorful words he's telling his mother. Ask him.
Oh, my God. It had to be people like that. And I want to ask him, what mother does have common state boards in our country and only give us certain some of your children and leave all the rest? I want to ask him which mother that take up children, hundreds or thousands of African children in a certain point, in a certain stronghold, and just jail them like that and say we go find the evidence after. I want to ask them what kind of mother that do them kind of thing.
Well, boy, I can answer you. It's only one mother can do that. The mother that he adore.
Oh, God.
And that mother is the only mother can look at he and call he, she son.
Oh, my God. These people have no shame, boy. Or they have no shame, and this woman stand up talking about Tobago in Parliament. Or they have no shame. Or they go stand up a couple in a jersey in Tobago. Or they hiding behind the black man. Or they hiding behind certain people.
How they could do that when even he's what, a deputy political leader? Lee, say, and we have Duke?
Jesus Christ, these people have no shame. But I want to tell my PNM people and my African people this morning, stay strong, understand the fight that is going on against me, keep strong and be well informed. Listen and keep on to listen to people like Mr. Sharon and Mr. Dominic who have the information, right? And all this stay strong. Mr. Sharon, Mr. Booth, have a wonderful day. I love you and I listening.
Thank you so much. What do you think is joke? It's only him, mother could watch him in the face and tell him, I love you. That's what has happened. Caller, you have a minute, hit me. Caller? Will I take you and you're gone? So guys, we're getting ready. It's the top of the hour. It's 11:54. We go to the ads, and you know the ads will take you to the top of the hour at 12 noon. And of course, when we come back at 12 noon, I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about this is our best chance at defeating the pandemic, yeah? I see there's a picture of Dr. Rowley and, what's his name again?
Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus.
Ghebreyesus. Yes. That's the WHO, the World Health Organization, Is he what he is?
Yeah, he's the director.
The director? One of the directors or the director?
He's
the main?
To use Mr. Manning's term, El Capo de Tutti Capi.
What was the term again?
The boss of all bosses, El Capo de Tutti Capi.
So guys, we'll be back with Sheffy Dial.
Oh yeah. Stop killing me, African people. Stop killing me, Africans. Stop killing me, 'cause we tired of this racism. Stop killing me, African people. Stop killing me, Africans. Stop killing me, 'cause we tired. Yes, we tired. Father God, please put a helping hand. Tell me why they do not like the Africans. Father God, I don't know what we did to them. Every day they're killing African children. So I want to know why they kill we and the police to kill we and the army kill we politicians to kill we. Father God, please answer we kill we. CIA want to kill we. KKK want to kill we. Racist skinheads to kill we. Africans, we have to unite. Build black business and treat each other right. Spend your money in black communities. Only then they will have respect for we. Over 400 years we suffering. We survived the torture, burning, rapes, hangings. Cities burning up, the whole world protesting. Black people tired of hate and racism. So I ask again why they kill we. Send the police to kill we and the army kill we. Politicians to kill we. Father God, please answer we. Kill we. HIV me to kill we. COVID-19 to kill we. Ebola me to kill we. Africans, we have to unite. Build black business and treat each other right. Spend your money in black communities. Only then they will have respect for we. Police kill just right for the world to see. Police criminals in black communities. Malcolm X and Martin Luther King they kill. Black lives matter, black people are dying still. So I ask again why they kill we. Send the police to kill we and the army kill we. Politicians to kill we. Father God, please answer me. Kill we. Vaccinations to kill we. Jim Crow laws they to kill we. Bill Gates he want to kill we. Africans, we have to unite. Build black business and treat each other right. Spend your money in black communities. Only then they will have respect for we. Black people, we must unite. Stop killing each other and unite. Demand that they should be right. Respect we Africans should be right. Black people, we must unite. Stop killing each other and unite. Demand that they should be right. Respect we Africans should be right. Black people, we must unite. Stop killing each other and unite. Demand that they should be right. Respect we Africans should be right. Black people, we must unite. Stop killing each other and unite. Demand that they should be right. Respect we Africans should be right.
When you text on the Street 919 FM, you can win weekly fabulous prizes. Text to win. Using your B-Mobile or Digicel handset, text your name to 9191, which allows you to win. One winner will be selected every Friday at 5 p.m. Listen, text, and win. You can also view live streams on Facebook at The Street 919 FM and YouTube at The Street 919 FM. Text to win on The Street 919 FM.
Are you tired of going place to place with no real solutions for your health concerns? Look no further and let our team at Louis Herbal Health Clinic take care of you with our amazing specials. Now offering iridology scanning, where we utilize a microscopic camera to detect hypertension, liver damage, a weakened immune system, and so much more issues in the body through the eyes. Iridology scanning is 100% safe and pain-free. Also available is our advanced 3D head-to-toe body scanning using the biophilia tracker a one-of-a-kind radiation-free device used to detect all chronic diseases, disorders, and inflammation in the body in just under 1 hour. Free consultation with any service and the same-day results available. We are located on number 18 Parakeet Street, Tacarigua. To book, call or WhatsApp Shanice today at 278-1661 or find us on Facebook at Louis Herbal TT for more information.
The Gospel of the Kingdom radio program with Gilbert James is now on the Street 919 FM every second, third, and